scientists, and today we're going to be going over how to make a hypothesis and actually test it out to see if it comes true. Kind of like a magic wish. So a hypothesis is an idea or an explanation that you test out through an investigation. Now, I hypothesize that if my students pay attention to the lesson and follow directions, then they will get a good grade. So we'll have to test that out. Now, I want to show you a very, very, very famous investigation where a scientist came up with a hypothesis. His name was Pavlov. And his hypothesis was, I hypothesize that if a dog hears a bell when they are fed, then they will salivate when they hear a bell. Salivate means to drool, right? So take a look at our images over here. Now notice the dog is drooling when he sees his food, but when he just hears a bell, nothing happens. But he tested out and said, well, if I ring a bell while there's food, he'll drool. So then when he rings the bell, he'll drool. It kind of reminds me of my dog Rowan, right? I don't even say, do you want to go for a walk? Right? He knows right away. As soon as I grab the leash, he gets excited. So it's that association. So when you have a theory, you have to test it out. And that is exactly what we are going to do today. So yesterday I showed you a picture of someone floating in the Dead Sea. So I was thinking maybe we could try to see if a bowling ball would float in the Dead Sea, because that's like 14 pounds. That's heavy. Now, obviously, we're not near the Dead Sea, and you probably don't have a bowling ball at home. So I asked you yesterday to brainstorm some materials that you could use in an investigation. Now, we are going to use an egg instead of a bowling ball. And instead of a sea, we're going to use warm water and salt. So remember, our hypothesis that we are testing out is that if we add salt to a bowl or a cup of water, then an egg can float. All right, so it's investigation time.
Hello, scientists. We're going to have an excellent time today. So if you're doing this experiment at home with me to find out if a bowling ball can float in the Dead Sea, you're going to need the following materials. Obviously, we're not near the country Jordan, and we probably don't have a bowling ball at home, so we're going to try to use some different materials like you brainstormed yesterday. So we're going to be using one egg. I named him Fred. You are going to need some sort of measuring device. I'm just going to use a teaspoon. You are also going to need to replicate the Dead Sea, and the Dead Sea has a ton of salt, so I'm using this amount. Okay, but I'm going to be measuring it out. You also need a clear glass so that you can see if the egg is rising, starting to float, or it's still sinking. So let's get started. Now, in your glass, you need to make sure you have warm or hot water. The hotter, the better. That way, the salt can dissolve or kind of like mix in. So let's go, kerplunk. So if you notice, his mouth is running, but if you notice, it sunk to the bottom. Now, if we add salt, like our hypothesis was thinking, we're thinking it might float. So I'm gonna add one at a time. Now, scientists, what I want you to do right now is keep an eye on Fred. Is he starting to float? Is he moving around? My salt's not coming out very fast right now. All right, so we got 3 right now. I'm gonna mix it around a tiny bit, just so it dissolves a little bit more. You wanna be careful not to actually crack your egg though. Did you see that? It was like, almost looked like a chick hatch and it bounced up. Keep watching closely. How cool is that? Maybe I'll add one more because I want it to see it go all the way to the top. Maybe I'll mix it around a little bit more because I see there's a ton at the bottom. So, scientists, it's kind of hard to see, but take a look. Our egg is floating at the top. So we can conclude that our hypothesis was correct. If we keep adding salt to water, we can make an egg float. Isn't that amazing? I hope I cracked you up with this lesson. So I hope you tried it on your own. And if you did, make sure you share your results in the Flipgrid in the science lab.